Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter. That was funny, Judah.
Well, it's funny.
That's excellent, Judah.
That's my neighborhood I grew up in. Literally, that's the neighborhood.
Mr. Carter.
Vinnie Barbarino. What? Where? Yep.
Was it Queens?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn
in the house. Baby.
Yeah. It was in Brooklyn. I never really narrowed down the neighborhood, but it was very similar to the neighborhood I grew up in and the building I grew up in. That you had, everything from Jewish, Italian, Puerto Rican, African American. It was all in one building. And anyway,
you're Italian Irish? Is that what you are?
I'm half Italian, half Irish. That's the ones that I think everybody claims to. We've been talking about doing this 23andMe for a while, but my New York sarcasm came out. I said, well, hold on, let me get this right. I'm going to pay all this money, send it out, and you're going to send me. How do I know it's right and wrong? You can come up with.
Come on now.
Nah, it's just me being me today.
Kevin Yancey, good morning.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Stump me today, Kevin.
Stump the Smith.
Stump the Smith.
We have a riddle already for Stump the Smith.
My wife didn't like Stump the Chump, so she said Stump the Smith. So.
Neil Williamson, Stump the Smith.
Jason
Howard,
a question,
Stump the
Neil.
Smith. Chad Wood, Jesse Rutherford, Stump the Smith.
Well, the problem is...
Carly Wagner, Stump the Smith. Liza Borges, Stump the Smith.
Thing is Neil probably knows, well, that's not too easy, too difficult to achieve.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Street smarts pouring out of your pockets.
Street smarts pouring out of my vest pocket with my handkerchief.
You got, the man is in a suit and button-down shirt on what is poised to be 100-plus degree day.
I'm not buttoned down, but I have a meeting. It was couple meetings this afternoon, touring some property up in the Ivy Way this afternoon. So dressed for success today.
Okay, viewers and listeners, we'll rock and roll. Judah Wickower, you're ready to rock and roll. How you feeling over there, J-Dubs?
Not too bad.
J-Dubs, you live in Large?
Yeah.
Large and in charge?
Yep.
Sure.
It's great to have J-Dubs smiling over there. Let's rock.
I love him to death, right? Yep.
He brings the enthusiasm, the conversationalist, the always chatty Kathy Judah B. Wickower.
But he is a chatty catty. You got to pry it out of him a little bit, but he is a chatty Kathy.
Would you describe yourself as a chatty Kathy there, Judah Wickower?
Depends on the company.
No. Yep.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Viewers and listeners, The Real Talk with Keith Smith. Judah, let's rock and roll.
Quiet on the set.
Quiet on the set. I'm feeling good today, fellas.
I am feeling great.
Feeling good.
Got my hearing aids all retuned in, so
Spencer Pushart, I hope you're watching the program.
I can actually hear Jerry.
Neil Williamson, I love you so much. Olivia Branch, I feel the same.
You know what?
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. I am absolutely feeling on top of Carter's Mountain today, atop of Afton Mountain today, atop of Wendell Woods Mountain today. A great day to be alive. I'm surrounded by my friends, my brothers from different mothers here, family as you like to call them. Friends are the family you get to select. And on the Wednesday edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith, we're going to sit back, we're going to have some fun, we're going to have a good time. We may play Stump the Smith, we may talk some real estate, we may talk the pursuit of happiness through sound economic decision making.
Huh?
Judah Wickower is the Elmer's glue of the network. Every team needs a glue guy. Judah Wickower is our glue guy. He keeps us online, he keeps the show active, and I swear he's promised me he's going to get us active on Twitter for those that are asking right now. Keith Smith, the star of Real Talk with Keith Smith, one of the principals of Yes Realty Partners, a man who's been in the business since 1987. Reach out to me, reach out to Keith, reach out to Yona if you want some perspective on how Keith and Yona can navigate this thing we call closing and buying and selling real estate.
It's funny, you always throw in this life thing, but life is really, I got my little plug that I do, or little thing that I say that we get to help somebody with one of the 3 essentials for a trip around the sun, which is shelter, the other 2 being housing, being food and clothing. So, we get up every morning to go ahead and help folks do that. And We love what we do. We take it seriously. And, but today is Stump the Chump. I want to have, or Stump the Smith. I wasn't supposed to say Stump the Chump, but I did anyway. But stump me, ask me a question, anything. There's certain rules we've been staying away from on the show, and I think we're going to start changing that a little bit and have a little bit more fun on Wednesdays on a bigger topic selection, and then focusing on, he's smiling, and focusing.
Comments are coming in for Stump the Smith. There was a show on ESPN, Stump the Chump.
So Stump the Chump.
I think you're talking the Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon.
No,
right?
I'm talking the Stump the Chump of.
That show on ESPN was Stump the Schwab.
Stump the Schwab, Stump the Chump. So Stump the Chump was a radio show put on by Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers.
Okay.
Right? This was Car Talk, and they used to have
Smith,
a
this
series.
graphic is hilarious.
They used to have a thing at the end of it where they would stump the chump. They used to stump the chumps, where you would call in and say, my 1957 Chevy isn't starting and it's making this sound, and they had to diagnose it over the radio, and then they would come back at a future show and see if they got it right. But that was the premise of it. Instead of Chump, we're going to say it's Smith. Mrs. Smith preferred me not to call it Stump the Chump. She's my advocate. She's my everything. She's my world, and she says you got to stop talking bad about yourself. So we'll do it. Stump the Smith. So stump me. Ask me a question. I had one come in from earlier this morning, but see what you got.
Johnson Village's finest, Heather Lamont Walker. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Heather.
Kelly Postel Jackson. Welcome to the program. Gary Palmer.
Do not ask me, Sam.
A real estate broker from town. Gary Palmer, James Watson, Katie Pearl. Welcome to the program. All right.
So look.
Stump the Smith. Are you ready?
You got one?
This is from the esteemed, the well-regarded, the man filled with pedigree and, is it pedigree? Pedigree and popery?
Potpourri.
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Potpourri.
Woody Fitchum.
I even know that's not the right word.
You can have some potpourri in your body. You ready for Woody Fitchum?
Yeah, that sounds.
It's from Woody Fitchum.
Okay, Woody.
He's got a riddle for Keith Smith. Are you ready for this one?
Does it require writing?
This is going to require you to figure out some. This is going to stump
Smith.
Smith.
Physics.
Here is a riddle for Keith on his Stump the Smith segment today. Are you ready, Keith Smith?
I am, but I'm immediately regretting this concept.
Judah Wickhauer on a 3-shot. Judah Wickhauer, when you get on a 3-shot, give us a drum roll, please.
My feeling is the question is more suited towards your intelligence.
Is that you on a 3-shot over there?
Yep.
Oh, look at Judah Wickhauer. Look at
What
that
happened to the
handsome
little
son of a bitch.
sound machine? Don't we have the sound?
The sound machine was destroyed by a 6-year-old who came to work with Dad on a Saturday.
Oh man.
You give a cheap sound box made in China to a 6-year-old?
That was not cheap. There's nothing cheap on this set.
Have you tried to fix it?
He pressed every single button at one time. Now every single button does not work except for the rim shot. It's somewhere around here. I don't know. All right, here's the riddle for
The only
Woody
thing that's
Fitchum.
cheap on this set is maybe the two of us, but other than that,
shot, please.
other than that, there's nothing cheap on
Woody
this set.
Fitchum, the esteemed appraiser, has this
I'm trying to avoid
riddle.
answering this question.
Keith Smith, the riddle. A judge I am not, but I rule the plot. Residential or commercial, I deal the lot. What am I? I'll give it to you both again. Are you ready, Judah and Keith? A riddle from Woody Fitchum. A judge I am not, but I rule the plot. Residential or commercial, I deal the lot. What am I?
Survey.
Viewers and listeners, I'll give you the riddle again. What am I?
Like the look I got, I'm not even
A
close.
judge I am not, but I rule the plot. Residential or commercial, I deal the lot. What am I?
I deal a lot.
Neil Williamson, I know you got this.
Plot just made me go to a survey on it. I mean, it's not, and the obvious would be, a real estate agent or a realtor, but I don't think that's it.
A judge I am not, but I rule the plot. Residential or commercial, I deal the lot. What am I?
A judge I am not.
Viewers and listeners, if you know the answer, put it in the feed and your name will ring loudly in the hallowed
Closing-
hallways of the
closing-
I Love CVille Hall of
Closing
Fame.
agent?
Keith Smith is getting worse and worse with his answers right here. Judah Wickower, I thought you would get this right away here.
Give me the last two again.
All right, I'll give it to you again. Kevin Yancey is not a real estate
Whether-
agent. A judge I am not, but I rule the plot. Residential or commercial, I deal the lot. What am I?
Give us a hint.
I mean, come on. If I give you a hint, I'm going to give you the answer.
Got it. I'm just trying to figure out the judge part. The judge I'm not. And none of mine are even warm.
No.
Not
No,
even warm.
We've stumped the Smith on the first one.
Yeah. Well, that didn't take much.
The Smith
So let's talk about real estate.
The Smith has already been stumped. Viewers and listeners, any ideas?
But I'm like, got the stump grinder, came in, grind down the stump, and I'm like,
Mustache Dan Pettit says, God, I love seeing Keith Smith squirm. Kevin Yancey
I
is
am
not a real
definitely
estate
squirming.
attorney. Carly Wagner is a smart person.
did Carly get it?
Carly's in an answer category so on point and so hot. I think I might say that she's got the answer correct here. But I will give it to the viewers and listeners one more time. A judge I am not, but I rule the plot, residential or commercial. I deal the lot. What?
That's not a plat. I said survey. It's not a plat.
It's not plat.
Not a plat.
Not a plot. A lot of people enjoying seeing Keith Smith squirm
I
right
am
now on the viewers.
squirming. Whose idea was this to come
Woody
up with
Fincham,
stump
this is
this?
fantastic. Are you ready for the answer? Lisa Customer,
Yeah,
hello.
let's.
Jason Howard on Rio Road, hello. Gary Palmer, do you know the answer? Katie Pearl, do you know the answer? Nate Kibler, do you know the answer?
And this is going to probably be extremely easy and simple.
All I've got is measuring tape.
A measuring tape?
It doesn't make any sense with the second half, but I don't know what
This
else.
is a real estate show, right?
Yeah.
Measuring tape in real estate?
Yeah, well, you measure.
All right, I'm not
Room
chastising.
size-
just
room
asking
sizes and
questions
stuff like that.
and
We
very
measure room
aggressive.
sizes.
Chris Jensen is asking, offering answers. God, I love Chris Jensen. Met Chris Jensen at the Villas at Southern Ridge. A lot of things in common, like poker, UVA sports, Cherry Jerry's, and hanging out all night long. Love Chris Jensen. Scott Thorpe, the commercial broker, says a tax assessor. That is a good guess, but no cigar.
It's not an appraiser, is it?
It's not an appraiser. Jesus.
I mean, that would be too obvious.
I really thought, I miss you too, Chris Jensen. We need to get Chris Jensen on this
Sure,
program.
he's welcome
right now.
anytime.
All right,
Welcome
I'm going to
anytime.
give the viewers and listeners the answer. I'm going to say Carly Wagner was correct on this.
Okay.
She says Kevin Higgins just is also correct. The answer we were looking for is zoning.
Oh.
Zoning. Carly Wagner said a zoning official. Kevin Higgins, the mayor of Greenwood,
So read
said
that.
zoning.
Read that again with the answer.
A judge, I am not.
Okay.
But I rule the plot.
Yep.
Residential or commercial, I deal the lot. What am I? Zoning. And we'll also accept a zoning official.
Well, the zoning official technically doesn't
Enforces zoning.
No.
A zoning official makes sure zoning
Yeah.
is followed to the letter of zoning.
Yes, that.
I would give Carly Wagner
Yeah.
correct
But
answer on
anything
that.
with zoning. Yeah. Look at that zoning. Look at that.
Two people
First,
got that right. Kevin Higgins and Carly Wagner.
So the first stump to Smith, fail.
Judah Wickower's laughing his ass off.
Should I keep track? I got a feeling I'm going to get a lot of fails here.
I did not think you were. I thought you would actually get that one, to be honest.
No, it's so damn obvious. You think I would?
I really thought you would get
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's funny, yeah. But zoning, that is correct because zoning rules a lot. And let's take a moment
Okay.
and pick that apart.
Yes.
Right. So the first part of it in relationship to zoning, for the first part of it was again a judge I'm not, right? So I guess what he's implying on that is zoning is law, right? Right. Zoning is what you can do with the property as far as density goes and so forth and so on. And the second part of that riddle was again.
A judge I am not, but I rule the plot.
Yeah, so those two are
Residential or commercial.
those are two tied together. But wow, nice job, Carly. Nice job.
And
Fail.
Kevin Higgins.
I just wrote in big and Kevin just wrote in big words. Fail. First one was fail.
This one comes in for the viewers and listeners for Stump to Smith. Are you ready for this?
Let's see if I can redeem myself here.
How many planning commissioners, this is so good. How many planning commissioners does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many planning
commissioners does it take to screw in a light bulb? Rory Stolzenberg. We love Rory Stolzenberg. He's a planning commissioner.
It came from him?
No, it did not come from him. It did not come from Mr. Rory
Well, we're going to
Stolzenberg.
assume it's 5 commission members because some jurisdictions have 5, some have 6 on it. I'm not so, well, yeah.
Judah, do you have an answer?
I'm going to get myself into trouble what came into my mind at the first
The answer,
time.
well, say it.
Yeah, probably none.
The answer is 6.
Yeah.
4 to write an extensive study recommending a 3-way 100, 200, and 250 watt light bulb. 1 to write a newspaper press release praising the study, and 1 to put in a 10 watt light bulb instead. 6 right there.
So
Little
who did
zing
that
to
come
the
from?
Planning commissioner. That has come in from an unnamed
Got
viewer
it.
and listener
Got
that
it.
wants to zing our fellow planning commissioner.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So Smith got 2 wrong.
How about this one?
How about we talk about the real estate market? I'm not doing so good right now.
Carly Wagner says, answer does not exist. They are planners, not doers. This one from Kevin Yancey. Every group needs a bear. We got
a bear.
Every group needs a bear. Kevin Yancey, 3 weeks consecutively.
But he is a handsome bear.
3 weeks consecutively, different finance gurus are shadowing another bubble forming and bursting. Stump the Smith.
Yeah.
Is there a bubble and a burst for real estate
So
in the Central Virginia market?
Yeah, so define, if you don't mind, Kevin, that's a pretty big, broad question. Is the real estate market in itself going to implode in the future, like 2007, 2008, 2009? Flat out, the answer is no. But we've been talking about this on the show. This one I can get. We'll put that in a pass column. You can take a look at it. We did this on Friday's show. The overall car footprints for 6 months of volume of sales is equal to 2016.
You have that graph, I think, from Friday's show, do you not, Judah?
Let's see.
I think he does.
And
Which one was it? Comparison of total homes sold and median sales
yeah,
price?
so it's a
or
line chart.
Comparison of new construction.
That's new construction. No, it would be the slide number 1 for that particular day, not slide number 2. This would
There we
be
go.
the one that was before.
Put it on screen for the viewers and listeners.
Well, I think that's the new construction one, but the one before that is, I can say,
Total homes sold and median
That's the
sales
one.
prices.
That's the one. Bingo.
yeah. So, but price has gone up 70%, right? But if you take a deeper dive into that, and next month we're going to do a Lake Monticello focused show. We are. Got a couple of agents coming in that
Who do you have?
We're going to talk. Well, we got a couple of excellent team members for
Okay.
Yes Realty Partners, and we always love having Maggie Gunnels on.
Maggie Gunnels, yes,
Maggie
we do.
Gunnels on, but Maggie.
the Gunnels Group.
We're trying to work out a schedule. But you can take a look at that same 6 months. Thanks, Judah, for putting that up. For the same 6 months, Lake Monticello has actually gone down in value. Not much, a couple of grand. County on the whole of Flavanna County is flat. So when you do the median across the board for the whole county, but Lake Monticello has actually gone down a little bit in dollar value the first 6 months of 24 versus this first 6 months. And if I can take a few minutes while you're talking, I can tell you the exact numbers. But so that's really the only jurisdiction that got down. So to Kevin's point, and my hearing aids are ringing from a phone call.
Put them on. You got that graph on screen, James?
But to Kevin's point, I think you're going to find certain localities, let's call it softer. Let's call it more balanced. I will never call it a bubble. Now, the only bubble out there, let's call it, is the commercial. That's the bubble. There is a big...
Locally.
No, this is nationwide.
Okay.
Right. So nationwide, you're looking at some possible implosions on the commercial side because of the resets on the commercial loans. They usually reset 5, 7, 10 years, depending upon the loan that you have on it. But you could see that be impacted. But certain markets will do really good. I mean, certain markets are
I'm
humming.
going to straight up say it. There's no bubble in Central Virginia. There's no bubble bursting in Central Virginia, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
I'm going to
but
tell you right now what's going to happen.
But-
This comes out on CNBC this morning. Mortgage refinance demand just jumped to a 2-year high this morning.
I'm refining my house to build an apartment for my parents.
Mortgage refinance demand is at a 2-year
We're in that-
high.
we're in that
Rates
pool.
are now dropping. The average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with conforming loan balance $766,550 or less is now at 6.87%. And once we get past this election, and once we get some clarity of who is in the White House, and once we get behind or beyond the bonanza of this zoo that we're currently in, this political zoo that we're in, folks are going to get back to doing what they call life. And as rates drop, more buyers will jump into the pool, more houses will trade, more multiple offer situations will exist, and when more buyers and multiple offer situations exist, prices are going to go up because demand is here. We haven't seen the impact of so many exterior or outside forces on this market. So many are about to hit. It's going to be a catalyst of demand.
I think the where always matters. I think the where, if everybody thinks, okay, let's say we get magically to 5 or 5.5, whatever happens, that we're going to be back to the unicorn years, and I don't know if we had an opportunity to show that slide.
He showed it.
Got it. So if you can put that slide back on, you take a look at the sales volume in 2021. I'm going from memory. I don't have it in front of me.
I got it right in front of me.
2021 is the spike.
Yep,
right?
2,524 units sold in the bar footprint.
And if the reason I like that chart, if you take a look at that, you could just see the way it spiked up. 2021 started not necessarily spiked down, but it's a slow roll down in volume.
I don't think we're going to get to 2021 numbers, Keith, but I would not be surprised if we start flirting with 2018 numbers.
Okay, we're talking volume of sales or sales price?
Units sold.
I think
Units sold.
I got a bet going on with Yona.
Ooh.
That I think you're going to see. I think the third quarter of this year is going to be very slow.
I think the
volume.
third quarter of this year is going to be extremely slow.
Yeah. So
People are going to be consumed with the election.
So I think when we take a look at first 3 quarters versus first 3 quarters going back to 16, I think you're going to see that number lower by 16.
I would not
I need
be
to talk about
surprised if
why
the
I'm using
fourth
16.
quarter of this year is going to be very slow.
There's a reason why I'm using 2016, and it's
Okay.
a technical reason.
Tell us the reason.
Because that 14-15 car switched its MLS programs.
Okay?
And when you start going back below 16, the data is not very good. So we're using 16 as the database. It just happened to match this first half. But when I start looking at 15 and 14 numbers, right, they're not reliable at all. 16 is when the new Paragon system kind of got involved in it. It started getting a lot better. You know, it was always good, but it was more efficient. So that's the reason I picked 16 going forward. I think you're going to see at the end of this year that we're going to be below 16's volume. And that's a bet I've got going on with Yona. Because, look, let's face it, I agree with you. I think election's going to happen. It does this every election cycle. You can go back and Google it and research it. Every election cycle, there's always a little bit before a slowdown in the market, overall market, talking about volume. After the election, it picks back up. There's always a dip in the credit in the 30-year mortgage after election. Some are big, some are small. I think you're going to see a pretty larger dip, I think, after the election. But by the time closings cycle out after November, it's going to be 2025 numbers. So you're going to see 2024, I think, substantially below 16, but then 25 is when you're going to start seeing it.
2025, ladies and gentlemen, first quarter, second quarter, 2025 are going to be red hot. You're just going to have to weather the storm if you're in this business, because the third quarter and the fourth quarter of this year are going to be flat at best.
I think the question is, and it's something I'm working on for shows for later this month and next month. We don't have too much left in this month, but next month is start taking a better look at performances by price point.
Well, put that in perspective.
So how is the million and up doing?
I think the million and up is extremely strong.
They're starting to be a little stickier on the market, because I've got several clients that I'm trying to help at that price point. Some homes are in the 20, 30, 40, 50, some are even over 80 days on the market. I think this is purely on price. I don't think price has been adjusted to where the market really is. I don't think value is going down. I got people calling me like crazy. I don't think, year over year, we're going to see a decrease or in value, right, year over year. But there is some homes out there in that price point, and I'm kind of in it at the moment, that's a little overpriced. You're seeing some of the lower prices being a little soft, particularly that's why Lake Monticello.
I follow Lake Monticello because you said it's a litmus test of this market. 4,300 homes in Lake Monticello, the largest neighborhood in the Central Virginia footprint, Lake Monticello. And Keith, I'm seeing some softening at the lake.
It is. So the question is why?
Like I have not seen softening at the lake since maybe coming out of the Great Recession.
No. We're going from, and we'll look at it here in a minute. Couple of weeks on the mark, days on market.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You're about 20 something.
10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 plus houses on the market right now for sale.
Yeah,
Like,
20.
When's the last time you've seen that many?
Oh,
Before COVID,
yeah. So
before the pandemic.
yeah, so it used to be for a very long period of time,
You'd have
decades of time, that the kind of standard amount of homes that were on the market, which was considered healthy out there, was roughly 40, which is 1% of the total volume of homes. This is the reason I use this as a litmus test. Now, you've seen things go, 100 plus homes. You've seen homes down in single digits there for a while. But right now, 20 is less than a half a percentage point of the total number of units at Lake Monticello. It looks big because we've been at 6 and 8 and 10.
single digits for years.
Yeah.
Single digits
Correct.
for years.
So we're at double.
I'll ask you this question.
The question is the price softening?
You have multiple homes in Lake Monticello that are priced currently with a 2 in front of it.
Well, we just sold our land.
275, a 299.
Yeah, so you've got to take a look at where they are within, like anything else. Where's the location? We've got the price you're talking about. What's the features? What's the condition? Does the home need any help? I can tell you we've had clients at that price point out there that would look at certain homes at that price point that walked away from it because it needs too much work, right? And at 6% or 7% or whatever we are right now, people just are not prepared to do that, right? So if you're looking at homes that are really good turnkey, ready to walk in, I don't have to do too much to the home, new HVAC, new roof, these kind of things, you're really in the 3s. You're really in the low 3s, upper 3s. But we're going to take a look at real quick what has sold in Lake Monticello in 2020.
Questions coming in for you.
Sure, go ahead. I'll do. You read them while I write some numbers down.
Bill McChesney, thank you for watching the program. The mayor of Greenwood's got a comment that we're going to get to here in a matter of moments. In fact, why don't we get to the mayor of Greenwood's comment here? What is the oldest standing home in Albemarle County? Judah Wickhauer, that's a question for you. That's a Stump the Smith question. I have an idea of what this is, but this is not Stump the Miller. This is Stump the Smith.
Well, I'm gonna
Stump the Wickhauer.
I'm gonna deflect this to you guys. Is it residential?
Yeah, oldest standing home, he says.
I'm crunching numbers, so I'm going to let you
Oldest
answer
standing
that.
home in Albemarle County.
I'm going to let you do that. I'm crunching numbers, guys.
Judah, you want to touch on that one at all?
I'm thinking.
Oldest standing home in Albemarle County. Any viewer and listener have that answer?
It's not the president's of UVA's home, is it?
No.
I'm crunching numbers here.
Cars
buddy.
Hill. Judah Wickhauer, oldest standing house in Albemarle County.
Damn.
Anybody, viewers and listeners, that's a challenging question. Seville Weekly did do an article about this. That's the only reason I know about this. I remember the Seville Weekly article.
All righty. Let us know, sir.
The answer is, if memory serves, and Kevin Higgins, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Findowry? Findowry is the oldest standing home, if memory serves correct. On some serious acreage, Findowry, the oldest standing home in Albemarle County. I believe it's Findary and Keswick. What is the answer? Kevin Higgins. Let us know if you could, please. Keith Smith, you're crunching Lake Monticello.
I am. So I just got to work on percentages real quickly. 2024.
1733, it is Findary.
So
1733. Unbelievable.
Yeah, wow. So from, hang on one second, Jerry. Give me one. Make sure I get my percentages right here. And I know exactly, because this is...
Lake Monticello number crunching.
This is actually rather interesting.
What do you got?
Okay, so first half of Lake Monticello, 2024. So I'm not counting the first 17 days of July. This is January 1 through June 30th, 2024. There was 99 sales. These are closed units, right? 8 days were the DOM, days on market. Median sales price was $328. 2023, same time period, 110 sold, so really not that much less. I mean, it's pretty comparable. It's pretty close. 5 days on market, so we're a little bit more longer in the tooth on the market. These are median days on market, but the sale price was $340. That's a 3.60%, and I needed to double check the math before I spit it out there. So we now have a drop of 3.6% year over year between last year to this year. Lake Monticello, now if we go ahead and take a look at different jurisdictions, they were all having positive increases. This is the only one that I know of that's been decreased. So it's a bit of a litmus test, and the question is why, right? Why is that 328 or 330 to 340 difference, and why is that price point slow down a little bit? I think it is because of the cost of money. I think it's the cost of money.
As you're saying, that's an entry point.
That is the first-time home buyer.
As the interest rate goes up, the cost to purchase.
I really think that's what it is. I think it's the first-time home buyer is struggling, and the only reason I know that, I think I know that anyway. So we just put the land trust project at Lake Monticello under contract this weekend. So those who are not familiar with it, think about a little bit of it like as a condominium where the land trust owns the land and we sell the improvements. The appraised value on it is $350. We sold it for $250, so it's $100,000 less. Totally renovated, new roof, new HVAC, new paint, new cap, everything's new in it.
And you're working on purchasing Roger's house in Woolly Mills, right?
We're negotiating that. I'm trying to figure out how to get cash to make that happen.
Okay.
And work with Roger on that. My point is, I had 100 phone calls. I was working with 100 different buyers to spit one buyer out, and it was all wrapped around qualification of the loans. Most folks who watch the show know this. The actual rate is really dependent on your credit score.
Yeah.
So the more stellar your credit score is, the better
your rate.
The better your rate is.
Yeah.
The less stellar your credit score. So one little hack here, if you really want to be in the market, work on your credit score. But so it was razor thin to get folks to qualify for that. So that real number to be effective on affordable housing is 225. Which we couldn't go to because we put so much work and money in it. And that 250 sale, by the way, is costing the land trust $75,000 subsidy to make that sale happen at 250. So I think the reason it's a little soft there is interest rate. To your point, I think once interest rate drops a little bit, we'll have this conversation about Lake Monticello at the end of the year or the beginning of the first quarter.
It's going to be a bonanza.
You're going to see a huge spike. Right now, it's a little soft, and other real estate agents or loan officers out there, tell me I'm wrong, and why you think that is, because all the other jurisdictions have climbed, or other locations we looked at. That's the only one that went backwards.
What do you make of the storyline that's been percolating that we've covered? I thought quite well. I thought Judah Wickower covered this extremely well with the Carlton Avenue Trailer Park. Do you follow that one?
I am following that. I've got to stay away from that.
$7 million acquisition price. Habitat for Humanity now trying to come in to save the day.
I've got to stay out of that because of the land trust chairman's hat I'm wearing.
Okay.
So there is some behind the scenes, to your point, with Habitat and others, we'll just call it others,
Okay.
that are trying to do that. The chance of it happening,
I mean, Dan Rosenswag characterized it in a recent Seaville Tomorrow article as challenging and difficult.
I'll be more direct. It's a snowball's chance in hell.
Of getting $7 million plus dollars.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get more than $7 million.
Yeah, well, negotiations aren't all about money, but yeah, that's a huge nut to come up with to make it happen. It's why we talked about with Greg Slater and Dave Norris on Friday about creating a strike fund. If we had a $10-20 million strike fund, which frankly blows my mind, and probably we're sitting in one of the most wealthiest parts of the country, that I can't raise that amount of money quickly. If we had a strike fund, we could walk in there and buy it and do it. We don't, so it becomes a struggle. That's the struggle. It's all about.
So you see the park going the way of the free market then?
Well, I wouldn't say
Way of the $7 million acquisition.
I wouldn't say Habitat and the Land Trust and others is not part of the free market. We're trying to buy it. We just don't have the capital to buy it.
So, okay, I'll change it. My two. You see it going the way of the $7 million offer
Yeah, I mean, there's
by the unknown purchaser.
yeah. So that conversation and it actually happening on the back end of it, going through the whole approval processes and so forth and so on, is a bigger lift. But yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity there if the buyers got the capital to do this and willing to spend the money to go through the process, that's how this system works.
Yeah.
Us nonprofit, I'm only speaking this as the chair of the Land Trust, would love the opportunity to do it. We just don't have the working capital.
Does a $7 million acquisition of a mobile home park generally mean it will not be a mobile home park?
I think that's an obvious
Okay.
question.
Just, asking questions.
Yeah. Nobody's spending $7 million on a piece of property to keep it the way it is. And I'm sure.
Clear that up.
I am sure we have no information about the who, what, when, and where in the negotiation. But I know this world. I am sure somebody is not stroking a $7 million check until they can get a plan approved to whatever their development plan is. So that transaction, unless it's somebody with $7 million that needs to do a 1031 exchange, but people that are doing this from a development perspective are not going to spend that money because it's only worth that money if they can develop it the way they want to develop, whatever that means, whatever their development plan is. So there's a long roll down between this conversation, it's actually closing and happening. So we're talking years in the pipeline. But I will tell you, certain nonprofits, it's going to be extremely difficult to do that because you're going to have to show up at or better deal. And that means you need a lot of cash to do that.
We'll follow that one very closely.
Yeah. I think, if people think that's going to close.
You made the very good point of the zoning change making this park way more appealing to an investor.
You still got to go through the process, right? And that's my point, right? Correct. And so we don't even know, shout out to Roger, right? The city doesn't even know how this process is going to vet out. So I would suspect if Jerry picked up the phone and says, I want to buy this to develop it, the answer is going to be, okay, great, let's put a contract on it with a pretty lengthy study period and a pretty lengthy condition of closing that I get this site plan approved to do whatever, X, Y, and Z. Then I'll close on the $7 million. That's how that usually goes. Any development track, unless somebody needs to park cash because of a 1031 exchange is usually how it goes.
This question's coming in for you. How does it characterize the market right now?
So that's what I was trying to say earlier. We're not Formica or
6 acres in that park, Carly Wagner.
Yeah, we are. Yes, Realty Partners are doing wonderful.
You guys are humming.
We're
guys are busy.
We're doing wonderful. That being said, if you take a look at the market on a whole, I think the volume is soft, right, compared to what it was. I think you're going to see by the end of the third quarter, which we're kind of 17 days into it, a decrease in sales, a volume in sales. There's a lot of people hurry up and waiting, and then it's going to go from United States Marine Corps, hurry up and wait to hurry up and get it done. And I think the election, I may be wrong, but I think the election will be the big catalyst on that. I think there's just everybody's waiting to see what happens.
Did you give any perspective on what happened over the weekend?
Can I give some perspective?
Did you?
I have not given any perspective.
Do you want to stay away from that?
I come from a different perspective. Unless you've been shot at or shot, I'm going to leave I've been in both camps.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it alone. And I've personally guarded people where my ring of protection was me and 6 inches to the person I was guarding. So, but yeah, the perspective is it's a pretty sad state of affairs that our country's gotten to this point. That being said, I don't think talking heads should be giving their perspective on something unless they've been shot at or shot.
6 acres on that, Carly Wagner, and Deep Throat gave us this insight. In terms of number of units on that trailer park, you could slice the 6 acres in nearly 50 lots and do less than 10 units per lot and have 0 affordable housing requirements on that 6 acres.
Yeah.
The new zoning, he says, is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, well, so do the math on that. So let's try. Who said this now?
Deep Throat.
Yeah, so let's do
He
that.
follows this like the Pope knows holy water.
Yeah.
He knows it better than I would say a lot of folks inside City Hall.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, they'll, to their credit, they'll admit it.
6 acres, slice into 50 lots, 10 units per lot, and you don't have the affordable housing requirement.
Yeah, but you'll have to take a look, and off the top of my head, I do not know the whole subdivision ordinances of cutting that in. You're probably going to have to build roads and all this kind of great stuff. But what's the total volume of units that under his formula that he can do?
50 lots, 10 units per lot, 500 units.
Yeah. Math-wise, that might sound good, but from a practical subdivision perspective, I don't think that would be possible. I don't think that.
No apartment towers?
No, what I'm getting at is what I think the gentleman is saying is to subdivide this 6 acres into 10 or whatever number of separate lots on it, which is going to require road frontage, which is going to require, basically you're going to have to build another section of the city within that. And that's just going to be super expensive.
The frustrating aspect of this is it's the most, as Judah highlighted, one of the most vulnerable portions.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
That is the whole reason why Habitat and we're trying to look at going to do this. But at the end of the day, this is the free market, and we talked about this in the beginning. You're going to see a lot of stuff like this on the higher end side of things. I think when somebody starts digging into the subdivision ordinance and all this stuff, I don't know if that deal is going to pencil out and what the actual costs are going to be between acquisition, development, and going through the whole development process. And again, I can't do it off the top of my head. I'd have to dig into one of my pro forma spreadsheets and figure this out, which is going to take hours to do. I just don't think the math's going to work. But I could be. That stump could be another fail, and I could be wrong. It could be somebody who's just trying to dump $7 million and not pay taxes on it.
I don't think that's what's happening here.
It's a thing.
I know it's a thing, but I don't, I can think of a number of other...
The who would be super important. And, what's going to happen here, if this follows a normal track, that we were going to do this, at some point, there's going to have to be an application made to the city, right? And then at that point, everybody's going to know who's the who and how this process is going to work. But that may be a great show for Roger to come on, or to bring on somebody like Kelsey Schlein or Justin Schimpf from Simp Engineering, going, okay, what can I do with this parcel from an ordinance perspective and a subdivision ordinance perspective? That sounds like a good show to me.
That sounds like a great show. Aren't you working? You're working a. I guess you didn't want to talk about the Nicole Scro.
Yeah,
It's
we're
percolating.
Well, this is a great Stump the Smith day. We as the Land Trust are working on a full, straight up.
Land Trust is busy right now.
That's why we need money.
Yeah.
We have so this whole rezoning thing has split basically into two pieces. Piece number one is a situation like you're talking about right now. Somebody trying to buy this. Let's call it more upper end stuff. The second end of it is the Land Trust and Habitat and these nonprofits, because really the nonprofits are the only ones that could really develop the affordable housing portion of that. The for-market folks, it's just the math just is never going to work on it. And I know this because I'm in the middle
This is your game.
I'm in the middle of this stuff at the moment. So what we are working on is a straight up 6-unit affordable housing. Nicole Scro is
She's great at her job.
been kind enough to work with us and give us the runway that we need. But since it's over 3, this is a major site plan, for lack of a better term. And this is going to take probably a year, if not a year and a half, just to go through the site plan process and cost the Land Trust and Nicole and everybody who's working on it hundreds of thousands of dollars of engineering to build 6 units. And at the end of the day, these units, I'm ballparking a number here, is probably going to cost us probably in the 400 range,
Oof.
425 range between acquisition, development, and building, and I can't sell them for more than 225. So the difference between the two is subsidy, and that's the reason why the for-profit side just isn't going to work. And you're going to see a lot of these less than 3 or 4 like units that are going to happen in the beginning. Then eventually there will be a change. A ZTA, zoning text amendment, is what's going to happen. And eventually they're going to start tweaking the zoning ordinance because they're going to realize we're not getting to the point that they wanted to get to.
Interesting question for you here for Stump the Smith. The area of Albemarle County that he sees with the most upside.
Upside for new construction or upside for just a general real estate?
How about both?
I knew you were going to do that.
You're on point today, Keith
Yeah,
Smith.
new construction. I think you're going to start seeing the outer rings. I don't think you're going to see too much happening within the growth area or the urban ring. It's just, we've talked about this before. There just isn't that much left, even though people think there is, but there isn't, unless they start looking at stuff like converting the commercial into residential. There's just not that much left that you can actually do something with. So you're going to start seeing some of the stuff in the outer ring. UVA is about working on 1,200, 1,400 units at North Point. So you're going to see a lot of that happen over there. I think you're going to start seeing some more percolation around the Crozet as far as new construction goes. I think on price point, this UVA, let's call it Boar's Head to Crozet, you're going to start seeing numbers climbing there. A lot of people seem to want to be there. But, it's kind of an overall picture of Albemarle County that it really depends on the individual section. So if something would pop up in Mill Creek that's priced right, it's going to sell like that. So I hope I did a somewhat decent job.
I think you did a great job right there.
answering
What'd you
that.
make of the Dave Norris efforts with the Carr Foundation? I thought that interview was fantastic. The Real Talk on Friday was
Yeah. So I love Dave to death, and anything,
you do.
but
Both do.
100%. So what they need to do, and we talked about that, is everything's going to revolve around this strike fund, right? Everything's going to revolve around how much cash we can raise so that we can make an impact on it. And again, back to the Lake Monticello thing, right? There's $75,000 of subsidy required to make a $250,000 sales. And that number's probably going to go up, right? So you're looking between $75,000 to $100,000 outside of the urban ring in Charlottesville to kind of make an affordable housing unit work. In here, we just talked about it. You're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars of subsidy. So if we're doing this land trust project of 6 units, so we're looking at what, $1.2 million minimum in subsidy to sell 6 $225,000 units. That's the struggle. That's the problem that we can go. And Dave will do a great job. He's the right man for the job.
How do you raise how genuine question from yours truly here. How do you guys raise that kind of money?
I wish I knew the answer to that. I will tell you, it's frustrating for me. I've been fighting this fight for a long time, and it's frustrating for me that I can't. We've proved through the land trust, not to make this about the land trust, but we proved that particular mousetrap works. We've got what's called your POP, proof of performance.
Proof of performance.
We have multiple units to do that, but it's a fight and a struggle per unit. When you go ahead and take a look at Maggie Walker Land Trust in Richmond, in one day they raised $5 million.
Who's making those donations?
Well, that happened to be the big corporations. That's what happened. The big corporations, the Reynolds and all that fun stuff that's out there, wrote these big checks. I'm probably going to get myself into trouble here. I haven't done that yet today, have I?
No, you've done a phenomenal job. Show's been excellent.
I've screwed up a bunch.
It's been a host's dream having you here. You're on point.
I screwed up a bunch.
It's been a long time since it's been a one-on-one show.
I miss them.
I love it.
I cannot
so easy.
I cannot tell you how much I miss
Same.
this. The roundtables are great. They're informational out. But I just have fun doing it.
Same, my friend.
And apparently I have some sort of issue about making in front of myself and making myself look like a fool, which I do a really good job.
You do a great job.
I do a great job.
But you do it intentionally.
Oh, really?
It does it intentionally. The affability.
We're gonna go with that.
The affability aspect.
We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. I'm not as dumb as a rock.
He does it intentionally. I think we all know that.
Yeah. I do it for what is the sake of a talk show?
Yeah, and for the affability piece.
But I'm gonna get myself into trouble.
Okay.
Thank you for reeling back my ADD. Now I remember what I wanted to say. We're in a nonprofit capital of the
That's what
world,
I'm saying. That's
right?
exactly. You have so much competition
And
in that
if
space.
you spit,
you're going to hit one.
look, I actually thought building, developing real estate was a competitive business. It ain't nothing compared to this nonprofit world. It is insane. How competitive everybody is for the same dollar, and the struggle is with the donor. So we don't have the big corporate entities that Richmond has that can stroke $1 million, $2 million checks. Right? They do this because it impacts their bottom line, their tax. I get all that. We don't really have that here, right? Our big employer is UVA. Well, that's a government entity, right, at the end of the day, or a state entity at the end of the day. Even though I think it's probably one of the best run 500 corporations in the country. but anyway, we'll leave that one alone. But
they know what they're doing.
They are the most corporate entity that I've ever seen or been around in. So we don't have that. So now we have the donor class, right? And the problem is Jerry's trying to hit you up for X dollars. I'm trying to hit you up. Judah, all these folks are trying to hit you up. And what they do, and God bless them, and thank you for what they do, they give everybody a little bit. Well, the problem is they don't help anybody out. To order, and I'm telling you, in order to be impactful in the affordable housing space, all the zoning ordinances, all that stuff is great stuff. They're tools. But if you don't have multi millions of dollars
not making moves
of subsidy, this is grant money. This is money that I don't have to pay back, right, to do it. And what makes the land trust special, just to get this out there, so the $75,000 we're going to do for Lake Monticello, that one house will be forever affordable as it goes through time. Right? There's a 90-year lease that reboots another 90 years. That's 70.
I think the counselors know this.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah.
But I had a discussion with my executive director for the land trust, and I think he's fine, great guy, but I think he's finally got it. You can't count on government money to do this. You need to reach out to the donor class. You need to reach out to the private sector and do that. Because look, let's face it, the amount of money that's going to come from the government, from local, state, and federal government, has been decreasing. It will continue to decrease on it. Everybody's trying to tie into it. And my argument to my board and to my executive directors, why are we chasing that for? Forget about that. Let's chase private money, right? Jerry, do you want to make a difference in housing? Yes, great. How much money can you get? Because we can do it, and this is how we can do it. And your $75,000 that you would give to help a house in Lake Monticello, well, I'll never, ever, ever, until I'm dead, come back and ask you for more money for that house. Because that house, that $75,000 will give forever. You can make a difference in one family's life at the tune of $75,000. Our account number is.
It was persuasive right there.
Well, it's true.
I know it is.
I'm not speaking anything that's not the truth, right? And so it blows my mind. If you really, really want to help and you've got the capital to do it, reach out. We can do this. We can make a difference in multiple generations' lives. Not just one, but multiple generations' lives. And as an example, we just recently resold a land trust home. $225,000 was this particular buyer. We sold it for $250,000, yada, yada, yada. By the time she walked away from it, after being at two years, she walked away with about $45,000 cash in her pocket. Walked into it at zero, walked out of it in 2 years, because the market jumped.
Yeah.
With $45,000 moving up the housing ladders, we helped her buy a market rate home because she had $45,000 to put down on a home. And Judah came in.
And came into her house.
And came into our house at 80% AMI, who's starting to build his equity over time. Look,
it's brilliant.
To make that kind of money in 2 years is not a realistic expectation.
But
right?
it happened.
Yeah. This is more of a 5-year spread. But my point is that the subsidy money for that particular house, that was part of the $650,000 Albemarle County gave us that we used for that. We will never have to go back and ask Albemarle County for more money for that house. That $650 translated into 23 homes that we helped out. We matched it with another $650 and yada, 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 and we pulled a bunch of money together. That is the biggest struggle. If I can have a ton
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
I'm passionate about it. I know we can make a difference.
Randy O'Neill giving you some love right now. You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, we can make a difference. We just need money. And that's what it's at. If we were having this conversation.
Why don't do the Carr Foundation partner with the Land Trust?
Sorry?
Carr Foundation partner with the Land Trust.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're communicating. We're partnering it. The Carr Foundation is now on the Regional Housing Partnership. The bottom line is, and actually this is something.
How about this question's come in? This comment's come in from Carly. How about the UVA Foundation? Are they in conflict with the Land Trust?
Try that question again.
UVA Foundation. They probably are in conflict with the Land Trust, I guess. Can you work the UVA Foundation on this?
Well, you can. This is really what's happening with the. And a shout out to Neil. I think somewhere in the beginning of August, he's having the Carr Foundation, the UVA Foundation and the UVA Affordable Housing Program come to talk to Carr. So you should attend that. You're going to get some good knowledge there. But the North Fork project is under the UVA Foundation. So they have not released the North Fork for RFPs and all this stuff. My hope is between the Land Trust, Piedmont Housing Alliance, and Habitat, we all are
you guys figure something out.
We're at the table where they can give us the land, right? And then we can start building on top of that. The simple answer for the Carr Foundation, they can write a check. I don't know why they couldn't write a check, but give us some land. Give us some land, we'll make some magic happen.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Smith.
1116.
Why don't we do the 101s more?
Yeah, so we're kind of in a summer. We're in a summer break. I've got traveling. You've got traveling coming up. We moved from Friday to today, but we're looking to get back to the 2 days a week on that end.
I'm out of town, viewers and listeners, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. heading up to Eastern Seaboard to New York for some R&R with the wife without children.
Oh, that I did not know.
Which is going to be fantastic.
So
Cannot
mom and dad are watching.
my in-laws are in town watching
good
the
for
kids
you.
for 4 days, 4.5 days.
Good for you.
It's going to be lovely.
for you.
So we're off air Thursday, Friday.
Hamptons.
Off air Thursday, Friday, and
Got
Judah Wickower is going to have a bit of an abbreviated work schedule.
You just found that out, huh?
Nah, he knew. He knew. We'll find a way to fill his day. Don't worry. We always do. Back in the saddle next week, however.
Yep. We'll be on next Friday. We're gonna have a couple of extra special guests come in. I'm gonna leave the names alone for the moment.
Okay.
About an awesome, let's say, local business that's going to be opening up really soon. So you're not gonna want to miss
Can
this.
you give us a tease of what kind of business?
If you like to eat and drink, you're gonna really, love
Okay.
this little.
Might
this
be
little
a
piece.
little breaking news on Real Talk with Keith Smith. And
It'll be
not this Friday, but the following Friday.
a week from this coming Friday on that end of it. So we're really excited about it. It's been a little bit of time in coming. So these are my favorite people in the world. So I'm one of my favorite people in the world. I got a ton of people just like you. Just realized I said that on that. But back to why you and I in the thing. Look, we're working on a kind of a new schedule for the fall and moving through the year. So I'm excited about that. But the feedback we get from roundtables,
Oh, they're great.
it's really awesome. Like Fridays with Dave and Greg.
Was pretty epic.
I got a ton of stuff. This is what I have fun doing.
100%.
I can't believe we're over an hour. And
Easy peasy, Sunday breezy.
so
Keith
have a great
Smith.
day, everybody. I'm gonna shut up. But, I failed. I kept the track. I don't think I got one right. So
Stump the Smith.
Smith's been stumped today.
A success. Real Talk with Keith Smith online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Look at the folks that are on screen. These are the businesses that you can trust in Central Virginia for anything housing related. Real Talk with Keith Smith. Click the Partners tab or take a look at the screen. Judah Wickower keeps us on air. Keith Smith of Yes Realty Partners. The I Love Seville show up at 12:30. Ladies and gentlemen, so long. And thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Look at that smile. I love it when it smiles. I love it when he smiles.
Judah Wickower smiling over there.
There you go. There's a smile.
That smile, Judah?
That is, Jesus.
Very genuine smile right there.
God, my phone's ringing off the hook. Why?